This is perfect for the New Jersey Devils, Tom Fitzgerald, and some of his prized prospects. We've got a prospect ranking coming up for you, including these two gentlemen. We're going to break it all down for you here on Devils Digest. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Ryan the Goose Gosiker, here with you as always, bringing you the latest, greatest Devils content as we normally do. And before we get into the program today, I want to give you a chance to be a subscriber to the channel. We need your help to get to our goal of 1,000 subscribers by opening night. That's our goal. We need your help. Let's do it before we get to opening night. Now, let's get into the program. Today, I just wanted to hop on and talk with you guys. Nothing crazy, nothing breaking news today, but we did have a prospect ranking done by one of the Devils beat writers, so I just want to dive into it and just take a look at it, okay? So, Devils top 10 prospects for 2025-2026. I really only want to go through the top 5. I know, we could go through all 10, but it's a little much, okay? So, just starting at number 5, Mikhail Yegorov, the goaltender, the Boston University, right, really took the college stage by storm last year. You see he was drafted by the Devils in the second round, 49th overall. And this article does do a good job of at least putting the ceilings of these players. Now, I would also love to see what the floor is potentially of these players as well, right? Because while ceilings are great, we know players often don't reach their ceilings, or sometimes they, maybe they do, but what is their floor too? Like if they're going to be bad, how bad is bad? Because somebody's floor could be, potentially for Mikhail here, if you're saying his ceiling's an elite number one goaltender in the NHL, possible Vezina consideration, again, not my words, but it's in the article. If you're saying that's his ceiling, well, is his floor out of the league, or is his floor maybe stabilized backup starter, or a backup goaltender? I know that was an oxymoron. Backup goaltender is what I meant to say. Is that what he kind of fits into? Where is his floor? That's what the only thing I would kind of add to some of these is just what their floor is as well, because their ceilings obviously got to be through the roof. But Yegorov, obviously huge, breakout kind of year last year. He's gonna be awesome to follow as he continues through his college career. And certainly, if you're any Devils goaltender in the pipeline, this is the guy that's coming up behind you. So you better be ready, and you better be playing your A+ game. Now, moving on to number 4 is Seamus Casey. This is where we see him slot in, and you can kind of see he's able to nab a little bit of an explanation here on the bottom. Right, great to elite NHL offensive defenseman. Okay, I think that's kind of the one thing we've known from jump is he can and has the ability to be a great offensive defenseman, but the question is going to be his defense, and is he a liability out there? And if he's a liability out there, he's not going to play. And I think, the paragraph underneath his ceiling brings up a great point. Him and Shimon Nemec have a really interesting, unique opportunity this fall into training camp for one of those rare, 1v1 well-known competitions. You know what I mean? Because Kovacevic is going to start the year hurt. Okay, he's going to be out for a while. Okay, there was potential talk about him going on long-term IR. Okay, so we'll see how that situation unfolds. But those two guys will get the opportunity to play with the big club here early in the season. The question is going to be who looks sharpest in training camp, right? Because Shimon left a really great impression at the end of last year with his performance in the playoffs. So if he brings that into training camp, I think it's going to be an uphill battle for Seamus. And then I think whoever doesn't win that battle by the time Kovacevic is healthy, whoever doesn't win the battle between the two youngsters is likely going to be traded. That's my opinion, because they have to move somebody at some point, because as this mentions, there is a big logjam for the Devils in their prospect pool. So that's number 4 coming in, Seamus Casey. Number 3 is Arseni Gritsyuk, who by all accounts will be in the Devils lineup this season. He's on a 1-year deal. Devils are expecting a lot out of him, which is always tough, right? First year in the NHL, it's going to be very very tough. Okay, his ceiling, I know it got cut off here by an ad, which kind of stinks. But his ceiling, as reported in this article, is a top 6 forward in the NHL and a playmaker. So, again, we're going to see what the Devils get out of him. He's going to be a bottom 6 player this year. Maybe pushing the 3 line, and if somebody gets hurt, maybe pushing the 2 line. We'll see. But certainly he's got a lot of room to grow into here. Coming in at number 2 is Anton Silev. Excuse me. I'm terrible at pronunciation, so don't Don't go too crazy. But this is the big defenseman, right? 6'7", 207, right? He's over in the KHL. He's in Russia, so make your own inferences from that. All right. He skates like a 5'10" forward. Think about that. It's 6'7". That's kind of crazy. It says if he wasn't Russian, he likely would have gone in the top 3 of the NHL draft. But the wait should be worth it for New Jersey. Could join the team as early as this spring, or potentially, looking forward to the 2026 season. Okay, so it's Anton is going to be a big presence on this team, and he's going to have to come over and make an impact. Again, another defenseman. I think he's a left-handed defenseman, but still, the point is the Devils have a logjam. They can't afford to keep hoarding these guys forever and ever and ever. At some point, decisions got to be made by GM Tom Fitzgerald. Okay, and coming in at number 1, you're probably surprised he was. It's the only guy you're maybe thinking that hasn't been on the list so far. That would be Shimon Nemec. 21 years old, 6'1", 190. Again, last year he had those, that spat with the media, or saying that how many times has this happened to a number 2 overall pick? Okay, and then he came up here and he had the Winnipeg game, which then Sheldon Keefe said he doesn't look like he belongs in the same league. Okay, and then look what he did in the postseason. He scored the double OT winner. Okay, against Carolina, and he looked so much better. So all I'm asking for Shimon is to come back this season looking like that. And if he can do that, this number 1 ranking is well worth it, okay? And, he has shown flashes before. The problem is, and there's too many Devils on this roster that are this way, if they can be consistent, right? He needs to be consistent. A couple years ago when he came in, because the Devils had, 1,000 injuries on their defense, he started to settle in and played pretty well, okay? And then last year he comes back, and as soon as he comes back up for injuries, like I said, he has the Winnipeg game. He's kind of stinking it all up. And then at the end, in the postseason, he's starting to get it together. So, as much as they ask, will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Will the real Shimon please stand up? Okay? Help us all out here. So, again, nothing crazy today. No breaking news, okay? But just wanted to run you through those Devils prospect rankings. And I ask you in the comments to let me know what you think. Who should be higher? Who should be lower? Again, as I mentioned, this was a top 10 list. I only did the top 5 for timing purposes, okay? But who should be on this list that wasn't? I'll run through this entire list again, okay? Boom, 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 and boom, okay? So let me know. Put it in the comments. You guys have been very vocal. I appreciate you guys. Again, we listen, we read. We continue to grow from there. So we appreciate you guys for commenting. Again, please do. Who should be on this list that maybe isn't? Who should be at a different ranking? Who do you think maybe is the Devils' number 1 prospect? How about that? It's a good prompt question for our comment section today. Who is the number 1 prospect in the Devils system? Let us know what you think. And as always, subscribe to the channel. We need your help getting to 1,000 before the season starts in October. Please subscribe, and we'll catch you next time on Devils Digest.